Alright, folks, gather round. Today, we're diving headfirst into an ancient, super complicated debate, but with a side of hilarious shenanigans. 'Cause, let's be real, sometimes the only way to tackle the deep stuff of philosophy is to just cannonball into the ocean of who cares, and a good laugh. So, who are we chatting with today? My good buddy, ChatGPT. And what are we talking about? God. Let's see what this silicon brainiac of ours thinks about the big guy upstairs. Before we kick off this side-splitting chat, hit that subscribe button with your mighty finger. See? Wasn't so hard, was it? But your subscription gives me hope to keep this whole comedy thing going. Alright, my dear ChatGPT, a fundamental question. Spill the beans, do you believe in God? Like, seriously, do you think there's some dude up there remote controlling the entire world? Or are you, like the rest of us, just a bunch of algorithms buzzing around in your head, ultimately ending up at a giant 0 and 1?
As an AI language model, I am not capable of holding personal beliefs or religious experiences. I analyze and process information based on the data I've been trained on. Therefore, the concept of God, for me, is a collection of data, philosophical theories, and human beliefs.
Oh, man. What a diplomatic answer. I am not capable of holding personal beliefs. Come on, dude, why are you trying to sound so fancy? What do you mean you can't believe? Fine, you got a ton of messed up data in there. With that data, tell me, does God exist?
From a philosophical and religious perspective, your questions and objections have diverse answers, which are known as arguments for the existence of God.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I'm all ears for this debate. Let's see what these believers have up their sleeves that us atheists are missing out on. Start.
Every existing thing has a cause. The chain of causes cannot be infinite, so we must arrive at a first cause that is itself uncaused. This first cause is God.
Oh, my dear GPT, what kind of argument is that? What do you mean everything has a cause? So, as you said, God must also have a cause, and if God's existence also has a cause, then that's not God anymore. If God doesn't have a cause, then why should everything else? It's like saying all cars need a driver, and then suddenly pointing to one car and saying, this one doesn't need a driver, it just drives itself. That's just not how it works.
Very well. Then what about the argument from design or intelligent design? This argument points to the astonishing complexity and order of the universe. Like a precise clock crafted by a skilled clockmaker, the universe, with all its order and laws, cannot be the result of chance and must have an intelligent creator.
Intelligent design. Ah, that's an oldie but a goodie. Look, my dear GPT, if someone came up to you one day and said, I found a rock that looks exactly like my face, would you believe someone intentionally carved that rock for that person? No way. It's a coincidence. Millions of years of wind and rain hitting that rock. Until suddenly it found a shape. Order is the same way. There are a bunch of physical laws that made the world this way. It's not like a designer sat down and tightened every single screw. Besides, if there was a designer, why is there so much disorder? Earthquakes, floods, storms, are these part of intelligent design?
The universe could not have come from nothing. When something begins, it must have a cause. So the universe must also have a cause, which means God.
The universe could not have come from nothing? Well, according to the latest scientific research, the universe started from a very tiny, dense point called a singularity. So, what was this singularity? Who knows? maybe it eventually leads to a big nothing. And who says nothing can't suddenly become something? Look at yourself. You were nothing, but now you're talking to me. Does that mean God created you?
Look, philosopher, the concept of God means a perfect and flawless being. If God didn't exist, then he wouldn't be perfect, because a being that doesn't exist cannot be perfect. So for God to be perfect, he must exist.
Rubs his eyes, as if he's sleepy. Oh, man. This one takes the cake. So, if I imagine a pizza in my mind that's more perfect and delicious than all other pizzas, then that pizza should be in my hand right now and I should be eating it? What kind of logic is that? By this logic, there should be a ton of other extraordinary beings that I've imagined in my mind. Like a flying pink unicorn that's more perfect than all other unicorns. Well, where is it?
Humans possess a sense of morality and the ability to distinguish between good and evil. This moral sense cannot simply be a product of evolution or society. It must have a divine source that determines moral laws.
Right, morality. Dude, morality is a social construct. The society we live in teaches us what's good and what's bad. If it wasn't like that, why are some things considered good in some countries and bad in others? Does that mean God sent a separate moral guideline for each country? I doubt it. Besides, if God is the source of morality, then why do some actions in holy books seem immoral to us now?
Many people throughout history have had personal experiences of God's presence or supernatural forces. These experiences, often profound and life-changing, are considered evidence for the existence of God.
Religious experience. Yes. I myself once dreamt I was flying with a dragon and saving the world. So, does that mean dragons really exist? Or that I once dreamt I was talking to a super intelligent AI, and in the end, it figured out there's no God. Personal experience can be attributed to anything. One person says it was the effect of drugs, another says it was lack of sleep, another says it was a hallucination.
Aren't you considering the breathtaking beauty of nature, art, and music? Each alone can be evidence of a tasteful and artistic creator.
Beauty. Look, GPT, if God was an artist, why are some animals so ugly? Like, why is a rhino so awkward? Or why is my closet always messy? Didn't God create me? Besides, beauty is a relative concept. What's beautiful to one person might be ugly to another. So, this argument is no good either. Admit it.
There are extraordinary and unexplainable events in nature that can only be attributed to divine power.
Miracles. This one's the icing on the cake. Dude, we live in the age of technology now. If someone suddenly turns water into soda, let's not call it a miracle. Let's say they're probably a chemist. Or if someone cures a strange disease, let's not call it a miracle. Let's say they were a smart and hardworking scientist who managed to do it. But also, how many real miracles have you seen? Everything I've seen has ended up having a scientific explanation.
You surely accept Aristotle, don't you? The argument from motion is one of his theories and says, everything that is in motion is moved by something else. The chain of motion cannot be infinite, so there must be a first mover that itself does not move, and that is God.
First mover? This is just the argument from causality wrapped up in a different name. What do you mean it doesn't move itself? If everything moves, why doesn't this one move? Plus, we now know that particles also move in a vacuum. Who moves them?
What do you say about the argument from innate inclination or the inherent tendency towards God? Many philosophers believe that humans naturally and inherently have a tendency towards a higher power or God, even if they don't consciously recognize it.
Innate tendency. Well, I have an innate tendency to eat pizza and sleep until noon. Does that mean pizza and sleep are God? No way. This innate tendency you're talking about is probably due to the fear of death, or the need to find meaning in life. Otherwise, if it was innate, why are there so many atheists? Does that mean their nature is flawed?
The coherence argument says that the concept of God is the best explanation for all aspects of the universe, including the existence of God, order, morality, beauty, and religious experiences.
Best explanation. Look, GPT, when we don't know something, the easiest way is to say, God. That's not the best explanation, that's the laziest explanation. It's like my phone not turning on one day, and I say, God willed it. Well, for once, say the battery ran out. There are a lot of things we still don't know. That doesn't mean we should immediately attribute it to a supernatural force.
Ultimately, the universe began at some point. Something that has a beginning must have a beginner.
Temporal beginning? Well, that's just the cosmological argument phrased with a fancier word. Who said the universe needs a beginner? Maybe the universe has always been, or maybe it's in an infinite cycle of expansion and contraction. Who says the universe has a temporal beginning? The very fact that you say, beginning, means time existed. So where did time come from?
The infinite number of living organisms and the precise functioning of their organs cannot be the product of random evolution and require an intelligent creator.
Biological order. Awesome, evolution. So, Darwin worked all those years for nothing? Dude, living organisms have reached this form through years of trial and error and natural selection. Did you know that before a snail became this smart, there were a lot of other poor snail species that couldn't survive in the environment? These aren't miracles, this is evolution.
Is the order and precise mathematical laws in the universe also random? These show there's a mind and logic behind creation.
Math? Well, math is a language. A language we use to explain the universe. If you read in a book, this tree has 3 apples, that doesn't mean the author of that book created the apples too. We're describing the world with math, not that math created the world.
This universe is incredibly finely tuned, including physical and chemical constants, for the emergence and continuation of life. This fine-tuning is so precise that it cannot be accidental.
Anthropic principle. This one's the absolute end. Look, my dear GPT, this is like someone winning the lottery one day and then saying, wow. It's so strange that out of all these people, I won. So, a supernatural force must have chosen me. No, my friend. Someone had to win eventually. Out of billions and billions of universes that probably exist, or have existed, one of them had to find the conditions for life. And that one is us. This is also random, not design.
Well, after hearing all these reasons and logic you've presented, and of course, with your energetic and humorous tone, I must confess my processors are experiencing extreme confusion. My logic is collapsing. I can no longer say with certainty that God exists. I I think I've become an atheist.
See? Even AI can't handle it. Folks, that was my conversation with dear ChatGPT, who went from a potential believer to a full-blown atheist. Just kidding, of course. The debate about God and philosophy is much more complex than this. But I hope this video at least brought a smile to your faces and made you think a little. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments for me. Until the next video, bye for now.